Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Chris, arch-usa.com. Go to the site, read some of the great articles there. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. I'm doing this video for one of the posts on the site, and that post is in regard to Zion Williamson. So, I guess I want to kind of preface this with I was a high school head coach for 5 years. I was an assistant coach for a year, actually 2 years. I was a college recruiter for about 7 years, and I don't just kind of shoot from the hip when I'm talking about basketball and things like that. I just wanted to preface that because I know people will look at this video and be like, "Man, what do you know about basketball?" Well, I kind of played college basketball and I coached college. I coached basketball and I recruited for colleges. So there's that. Now, the article that I wrote was about the new Jordan Zion 2 that's coming out from Nike. And I wanted to take a look at something because the nearest kind of comparison I have to Zion is LeBron, but LeBron's much taller. And LeBron also does certain things throughout the season and during the summer to maintain his body to play. LeBron has never really been hurt. He's been hurt a couple of times since he got to LA, but those were freak injuries where it was a leg strain, and one of these freak injuries actually happened to Zion. So let me stop rambling. Let me get to it. You see over here to the side the article. I'm going to put the link to the article down in the description so you guys can check it out. The new Zion 2 looks better, but will it hit the court on its namesake's feet? That's the question. So let's get into the discussion. All right. The hype and promise of Zion Williamson has been hindered by an array of injuries early in his career. The focus has always been on Zion's body type and weight, but the reality is an all too familiar situation for basketball players. That situation is overuse and repetition of movements stemming from careers built on the back of travel basketball. And it probably always sounds like I'm really not with travel basketball, and I'm not. To be honest, I'm not. But before diving into the new Zion 2 sneaker from Jordan Brand, I think it's really important to understand how a player drafted in 2020 has only played one full season when you combine all three of the seasons he's been in the NBA. Jordan Brand, in their official release of the upcoming Zion 2, they forego telling fans of Zion's struggles. I think that's the wrong thing to do. I think they should really talk about his process. But I almost get why they didn't. And I get why they instead opt for the images of him working out, the images of him in the gym. I get it. I understand why they did it. And that's because to focus on the reality of the situation, it's a little grim. It's a little grim. And I'll explain. So just stay with me. Don't click off. Keep following along. And I'm getting there. Okay? What they opted to do was show the sneakers. Right? You see the white sneaker next to me right here. And this shoe is nice. It looks fantastic. They've done something that I've been hoping basketball companies would do for a long time. They reverted back to the use of leather and suede-like materials for the Zion 2. They have a traditionally shaped toe box, which means they're going to be able to give this shoe some fantastic colors. Now, if you look over here at it, you can see elements of the Mellow 1.5 in the heel. Now, I know it's a weird thing to kind of think about and say, nah, it doesn't look like the Mellow 1.5, but it does. So they have a very good model or base. And then you have this classic kind of strap over the midfoot. But that takes me off topic a little bit. So the Zion 2 press release from Nike and Jordan Brand, it focuses on the tech of the shoe and the look of the new sneaker. But that's only half the story. Zion, like any high school or middle school athlete with aspirations of attaining an elusive D1 scholarship, played full high school seasons and then followed up the high school season with travel basketball. And he even participated in the high level gauntlet tourneys with Adidas. His high school mixtapes were played in Adidas in like Harden 1s, and partially was the reason why the Harden 1 was so successful. Now, by the time Zion moved on to Nike at Duke, and now to Jordan Brand with New Orleans, in high school, Zion played 60 plus games a year. And this is why I'm not a big fan of year-round basketball. Including practices, Zion's body growing. If you look up and do the research, the dude grew from like 5'8" to like 6'3" in like a year or so. So you had this guy that had these guard skills, and he packed on this weight and the height. And all of that explosiveness that he has, it was never given time to properly rest or develop. And he definitely didn't receive the correct nutrition advice in high school. We know that. His freshman year at Duke, however, and let's think about a guy like Derrick Rose. Because if we want to talk about the way Zion dunks the basketball, the nearest comparison to how Zion was in high school, college, NBA, body type, kind of LeBron, but not really because LeBron's so much taller. Explosiveness is purely Derrick Rose. So if you go back and watch the high school dunk tapes of Derrick Rose, you get almost a mirror image of Zion. But here's the thing about Zion at Duke versus Derrick Rose at Memphis. Derrick Rose didn't necessarily get hurt. His body recovered. The only thing we kind of remember about Zion at Duke is the blowout. The injury where the shoe ripped, he slipped, and that right knee, remember, the right knee was injured. But this is what's interesting. If you go back to Zion's senior year in high school, Zion was injured at the beginning of his high school career. He was injured. And then he got healthy, and he gave us this amazing mixtape and all of these fantastic dunks. But we're going to look at something in a second that is really kind of interesting. So the injury in high school, the injury at Duke, those right knee strains would become a harbinger of problems for the young superstar that is Zion Williamson as he transitioned from the college to the pros. Now, we see this brown version of the shoe, and like I said, the shoe is constructed better than any basketball sneaker on the market. Now, if you remember a while back, I talked about the GT Cut and the success of the GT Cut. I think the Zion 2 could have similar success in basketball as the GT Cut. It is one of the best, and there's a lot of overlays here, but the materials that they're using are classic throwback materials. Most basketball shoes are knit today. Probably all of them. Which means that the colors are always some blurred layover of knit and then like lines inside of the knit, and then they try to make the colors fit inside of these knit shoes, and it does not look good. People have not gravitated towards those basketball shoes, which is seen in the sales, which I have on the website. You can go in and look at the reports and look at the sales on basketball shoes. It's very low. But if you look at this Bayou Boys version of the Zion 2 that's here to my side, I think I'm right here going the right direction. Those materials, that suede and the rugged kind of canvas, this shoe does not look bad at all. And this thing will easily transition from the court to the street. But once again, our question goes back to, will Zion play in this shoe? And now we're going to get to the crux of what I'm talking about. Zion's right knee and his foot, of course, as he gained the weight after the other injuries, they've kept him out of NBA games. But like I said, a return to his senior year, high school hints at the overuse. He was injured to start the season in high school. And when he arrived back on the court, once again, those explosive highlights made an appearance. And then the mixtapes and everything else came out, and it made him one of the most popular players in the world. There's no wonder he was pursued by every brand. Zion has always been the next big thing, but it's been 3 seasons full of injuries. And a lot of it was New Orleans holding him out of games. But here's something that you have to remember. A while back, I did a video that kind of mimicked another video that I saw out there talking about Derrick Rose. But this is one of those things where no one has done a video looking at Zion and questioning, why is Zion getting injured so much? Watching his mixtape delivers in really eerie comparison to Derrick Rose in the way Zion lands after these big, powerful dunks. So let's go to high school, right? Let's go to high school. I'm going to open this in a new window. All right, so the Zion Williamson video here. At 42 seconds, I want you to watch the way Zion steals the ball and dunks it. When he lands, his right leg is straight. Then I want you to watch the 4-sequence dunk that follows. He lands every time, even with a layup, with his right leg straight. At 2:04, he gets another steal and he dunks it. When he lands, which leg is straight? The right leg doesn't have any shock absorption. At 2:18, you get the picture. At any point when Zion moves with momentum to dunk, and sometimes even when he's just doing a layup, he lands on one leg with that leg straight like a pole. If you drop 200 pounds on a straight stick, what happens? So every one of those high school videos, when you look through this entire video, I could keep going through that entire video, but it's important for me to kind of compress this as much as possible. Let's move to college. What we see is a leaner, more athletic Zion Williamson, and it becomes really apparent that the trainers at Duke have worked with him. So when you look at this video, it looks fantastic at the start. So college initially was actually pretty good for Zion, who, like his kind of person that we'll compare him to, Derrick Rose, was able to get stronger, and he actually had a break from the poor mechanics learned over the course of a lifetime of high school and travel basketball. So college was good. Unfortunately, though, as the season continued at Duke in his freshman year, his only college season, Zion reverts back to poor landing mechanics. So you'll see in this video where he begins to land with that one straight leg again. The injury in college was a freak accident. But as you watch this highlight video and you watch it all the way to the end, the later dunks from the season show that he carries the old habits from high school into college later, and he carries those same habits into the NBA. When you look at this dunk at 4:53 of this video, I don't know how you can't watch it and just cringe. That's that 4:53 dunk. When he has momentum, he's in a danger zone. The Zion 2 is basically arriving as this NBA season is ended and a new draft class is entering the league. New Orleans is preparing to offer Zion a max deal. Jordan Brand is hoping a redesigned Zion basketball shoe will catch fire as the Nike GT Cut did last year. They've given him a Jordan Brand sneaker that for the first time combines a more street-ready style with performance tech. They moved away from lightweight synthetic uppers, and his new shoes are made with an old-school design material aspect featuring leathers and suedes. There's even a throwback to a Barkley-styled strap at the forefoot. This model is prime for some nice colorways. None of these updates will matter if Zion continues to use poor landing mechanics. A shoe won't protect him, but becoming a 2-foot dunker might. He tends to land with better shock absorption when he dunks in the half court versus getting steals and dunking in the open court. Laying the ball up on fast breaks might give him better control also, or simply swinging after dunks that are fast momentum dunks to slow his momentum, so when he lands, he's got that shock absorption. Because this is the unfortunate part. As of right now, even when he's just training, he is still landing on that right leg when he uses momentum and speed. And we know his game is built on that, but it's hard to watch. So let's look at this video of him post-injury during this last season where he didn't play. And here he takes off, one leg. And here he takes off, one leg. Now, I can't do this entire video without giving you an example of a player that's huge, extremely fast, but who runs like a track and field sprinter. He also jumps like a track and field sprinter, and that's LeBron James. So if I come over here to this LeBron James video and we watch the highlights, even in momentum, you may find LeBron have one or two moments on like his top dunks where he's got a straight leg, where the momentum completely carries him away. But when you watch most of his dunks, he's dunking on somebody, so that breaks the momentum and he lands straight up and down. Like at that point, he lifts the leg up, but even then he absorbs it and his other leg is still slightly bent. Right here, every time he dunks, you see him with his leg slightly bent. Momentum, everything. But LeBron James, like I said, he functions more like a track athlete. And that's not saying that track athletes don't get injured, but he tends to stay very vertical when he's doing things. And that's a very smart way to play. And once you see him land, it's always step, step, bent knees, right? So when we go back to Zion during his, 1 year in school, as the season progressed, he did revert. But when you notice that he's jumping and catching and dunking with two hands, even in some instances, like here, he ran it out. But those are earlier dunks. So with two hands, he's got his shock absorption, right? Now there, he reverts. So as you get later in the video, bang, one leg. You see what I'm saying? It's like momentum, one leg. Now, he did land that time. I said one leg, but he did land that time. One leg right there. He had landed with that same kind of, straight leg on some of those. But every time it's 2 feet and two hands, he's good. Even with a power dunk, he's good. He doesn't do the weird kind of hop, but he actually did it there. It's hard to watch this, man, and not recognize that he reverts back to some bad habits, and knowing that he does it in the pros still, I'd rather him stay that way. 2-hand dunks instead of one. But that one was good. That wasn't bad at all. If he get one leg, as soon as I get excited at the end here, he proves me right, and he goes back to landing on that one leg. And the scary part is when you watch it here, when you come back and watch it here at the one leg, right leg again, You see it, and it's just, this one hurts. I hope you get what I'm saying. That's all. Peace.